Dear world, hey. A few misconceptions about Iran, Iranians, and the war on the Islamic regime. Misconception number one. The Islamic Republic of Iran is just the government of the country like any other state. Reality? The Islamic Republic is a terrorist Islamist regime occupying Iran. It is not Iran, and it does not represent the Iranian people. Two, misconception number one. If you hate the Islamic Republic or Israel, you should oppose a war on the Islamic regime. Reality, you can hate Trump and still support Iranians overthrowing a dictatorship. These are not mutually exclusive. This is not about Trump or Israel. It's about 47 years of Iranians fighting a brutal terrorist regime. Three, this war was launched to distract from the Epstein files. Reality, Iran's revolution, the killing of over 40,000 plus protesters, and the Epstein file news cycle simply happened at the same time. Iran's struggle has been unfolding for decades. World events don't revolve around American political scandals, unfortunately. Four, look what happened to Iraq or Libya. The same would happen to Iran. Reality, Iran is not Iraq or Libya. Iran has a different history, state structure, educated population, and an organized opposition. Countries collapse from power vacuums, not from change itself. Iranians have spent decades building opposition networks. Five, Iran is a Muslim country, so this is religious. Reality, Iran is one of the most secularized societies in the Middle East today. The regime is Islamist. The society is not. Six, Iranians don't understand geopolitics. They don't realize foreign powers have interests. Reality, of course we understand. We've lived inside geopolitical conflict for decades. We know states act on interests. We simply prefer interests over terrorism. Seven, Iranians want war. Reality, Iranians want the regime gone. War is the cost the regime forced upon the country. Eight, this is a foreign attempt at regime change. Reality, Iranians have been trying to overthrow this regime for decades. The revolution started long before the world started paying attention. Nine, look at the rallies on Iranian state TV. People support the regime. Reality, those rallies are staged. Many people are coerced or pressured to attend. That's the propaganda you're choosing to believe. 10. Iranians are passive victims waiting to be saved. Reality, Iranians have been resisting continuously for decades. Luckily, the US and Israel realized we can't overthrow a terrorist regime barehandedly. 11. Sanctions caused this crisis. Reality, the regime weaponized Iran's economy long before sanctions existed. Iran's wealth has been spent on militias, proxy wars, and terrorism across the region. 12. War means mass migration of Iranians to Turkey and the EU. Reality, most Iranians have chosen to stay. Even the EU has been surprised by the lack of mass migration. Iranians are courageously waiting for the right moment to reclaim their country. 13. The Islamic regime reflects Iranian culture. Reality, the regime is a rupture in Iranian history, not its continuation. Iran existed for thousands of years. This regime for 47, and hopefully it's gone soon. 14. There's no alternative leadership. Reality, opposition movements and leadership structures have been organizing for years. Alternative exists. Plan exists. Thank you for choosing to support us.
She laid it out pretty well, actually, to be honest. I don't know if Gregory's done. At last I seen, he was still talking, so I hope I don't overlap him too much. All right, here's a few little short clips of attacks there in Iran, there, the bombing. This one's in Baghdad, actually. Actually, that's us shooting their stuff, their drones down. Seems like hardly any missiles are going through anymore. The only thing they got left is the drones. And they can fly those lower than the radar can pick them up. That's why they're getting there.
بس عم شظايا دير بالكم شظايا وهذا بعد يصفر.
Yep. Here's another one.
Incoming.
There's some kind of guns now that sound like, I don't know, like they're motorized or something. Here's another Iranian drone getting engaged. And there goes another drone. Yep. Bye-bye. Here's the Federal Reserve confirmation in Congress. Here we go.
The Federal Reserve has revealed that U.S. NGOs have more in assets than the combined 2025 GDP estimates for Japan, Germany, and India combined.
That's the NGOs. These NGOs are getting our tax dollars, and they got more assets than all these countries put together.
India and Japan's GDP each just over $4 trillion, Germany $5 trillion, about $13.5 trillion together. Guess what? The combined
And people wonder why we have such a huge deficit.
Assets held by U.S. NGOs equals $14.2 trillion of your tax money and that of your children and grandchildren and great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren. Ever wonder why everything is so absolutely unaffordable today? It's not actually rocket science. Government has forgotten the fun.
All the spending without growing the GDP, the real wealth of the country, causes inflation.
Fundamental reasons for which it was formed to serve and protect our civil liberties. It has inverted the entire formula and decided that we are the ones.
I got a clip about the trucks, Gregory, about these illegals driving in the trucks like you were talking about.
Here to serve, to work, and through our individual labors to support their desires and the behemoth of a bureaucracy that has emanated from those desires.
That's all right, Gregory. I wasn't sure. It takes me a little while to set it up. That's why, I had part of it set up, but, then I have to tie it into Wimkin and BitChute and all the other ones, and get it over to YouTube and that kind of stuff. So, all right, Caitlin Bennett, watch how leftists these are. They'd rather have Islam than a MAGA supporter.
Who do you have more in common with, a Trump supporter or a radical Islamist?
Radical Islamist.
You saw someone wearing one of those red hats chanting "Make America Great Again," or you saw someone shouting "Allahu Akbar" running down the breezeway here. Who would you feel more safe with?
I'm sure some other people have played this clip. That's a good one.
The one shouting Allahu Akbar. Yeah.
You would support the radical Islamists.
Yeah.
What is it about Trump supporters that you don't think you'd get along with them so well?
I'm gay.
But you would get along with the radical Islamists? Yes.
It did sound like a saw, didn't it? But they're taking them out.
And you're gay?
Yes.
In solidarity with radical Islamists, would you look at the
Good luck with that gay thing in some of these Islam countries.
camera and say in solidarity, Allahu Akbar?
Allahu Akbar.
And would you say "Make America Great Again" in solidarity with the Trump supporters?
No.
What is a bigger threat to America today, radical Islam or Trump supporters?
Trump supporters.
I'll say Trump.
Trump supporters in MAGA.
Yeah.
I would say Trump supporters in MAGA.
I would have to go with the Trump supporters.
Trump supporters, MAGA.
Trump supporters in MAGA.
I'd say MAGA.
But we should be able to allow people to be who they are.
Yeah. Even if they're a radical Islamist.
Yes. There's no right to judge them.
So if someone came running down the street, Allahu Akbar, or if there was someone on the opposite side saying, "Make America Great Again," got my red hat on, which side would you run to?
I don't know.
As Christians, and we're following Christ, do you think it's important to call out radical Islam?
No, because it's a freedom of religion.
Yeah, it's a freedom
Right.
of religion.
How many terrorist attacks did Trump supporters engage in last week?
Wait a minute, they call out Christians all the time.
So many.
Just guess.
Thousands.
If you're a radical Islamist watching this right now, we pray for your conversion.
It's whatever they want to do, then do it. 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 Whatever they want to do, then do it.
All right, there's Karen Kennedy. She calls out Ilhan Omar. Come on.
Today, President Trump
trucking
had in the Oval Office Stephen Miller along with Vice President J.D. Vance to announce publicly and officially that he has assembled a fraud task force. And why is that important? Well, for several reasons, so that we can now be free as taxpayers from spending hundreds of billions of dollars for illegitimate leering centers. We don't need any more leering centers. We have leered enough this past 6 months. And you're going to leer a little bit more today. The president is very excited about this. He is very passionate about this, as am I, because I am really sick of seeing third world freaking pirates, especially from everywhere. I don't care. Somalia, Mexico, Honduras. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I want you. First of all, I want you out. I want you out. I want you out. You ain't even got to pay it back, because it's probably like a bad episode of American Greed where this dude comes up with these schemes and steals hundreds of millions of dollars from poor investors. And then he goes to prison and they might recover $25 from the hundreds of millions of dollars that he stole from different old people who have been investing in.
Greg, the next one I got coming up is about a illegal truck driver
in his fake hedge fund for years, and the Ponzi scheme runs out. So that's when these individuals get caught and they go to prison. Anyway, so I, like many American citizens, have had it with paying for these illegals, and not just illegals, but those who have been naturalized, who are also taking full advantage of our generous welfare system because they come here and they don't want to work, or they're sick when they get here, and then we got to take care of their raggedy ass. Either way, the president's announcement of this task force is quite historic for another reason. Is he brought up Ilhan Omar again. He brought up Somalia based on what Stephen Miller said. We love Stephen Miller. He is a national treasure. I don't care what you think about him. I appreciate and love him. Anyway, the president pointed out Ilhan Omar married her brother. And I'm going to tell you why that's significant. Donald Trump don't say shit that he is not sure of. He does not say things just to say them and throw things against the wall to see what sticks. When he says something, that means he has thoroughly researched it. That means he has had a team of people going over combing the legal ramifications of it. He has already read the background noise and heard the background noise, and seen the landscape. He
seems that Trump's got better advisors this time around than the last time. And they're not perfect, but they're better than the first time.
Already knows that what he said.
He had some people that were working against him last time, and I think he has less of those this time.
Because it comes from him, it makes it 1,000 times more explosive. So, what do we have here? We have the individual who was installed in Congress in the 5th District of Minnesota. And why is it? This is several times the president has mentioned Ilhan Omar marrying her brother. She's not going to do a damn thing about it. Why is it in this very litigious society that we live in, why hasn't she said a word about suing him? Oh, we know.
I bet you, Heather, I bet you the illegals get more than the $500 a week.
It's because it's true. President Trump has already seen documentation that we...
Oh, wait on that trucker one, Gregory, until you get back.
We haven't been made privy to yet. We will. Be patient. But believe me, I'm tired of being patient too. But for this shit, I'll wait a little bit longer. He has already seen the documentation. He has already seen the congressional information, perhaps, that has been gathered. This is a long-standing story. Remember, this didn't just come up over like a year ago. This has been I believe a Minnesota Star Tribune back, 10 years ago, whatever. This is a long-standing story. It's not overnight. And as soon as the information was released and things started to get heated and threatened her political career, she shuffled her brother husband off to the United Kingdom. He's been there for a long time. He hasn't lived here for a while. He hasn't been here. As soon as that shit became public and the news broke, she hurried up and got him out of here. So he hasn't been here in a while. I don't know where he is now, but I know she shuffled him off to the UK to get him out of here.
No, it seems New York City has passed something where you can marry your cousin now. So if you marry your cousin, you could have the same grandparents.
The heat was too hot. But, you can't make fun of her. You can't talk shit about her because she's a Muslim and you can't make fun of Muslims. And then she's an immigrant and blah, 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 fucking blah. Fuck you. Anyway, nobody plays that little game anymore, Ilhan. You can't hide behind that hijab. And President Trump knows that you can't sue him because there's that pesky little thing called discovery. And it would prove irrefutably that you indeed married your brother. That's why she won't sue him. Because she can't. Shit. So, President Trump thankfully announcing the fraud task force. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
I like the ending always like that. All right, here's some truths.
At some point, we need to call a spade a spade. At some point, we need to stop trying to be nice. At some point, we need to call out everybody on both sides. So here it fucking goes. Okay? If you are against the SAVE Act at this point, you are openly admitting that you allow illegals to vote. You believe women are stupid. You believe anybody that has any melanin in their skin is too fucking stupid. And
can everyone hear this one? Okay, I know the volume's a little bit low.
Some way, somehow, you are openly admitting that there are a bunch of illegal immigrants on our voter rolls. We already know why Democrats keep a bunch of illegal immigrants in their sanctuary states and in their sanctuary cities, and it is to up the House seat numbers that they have. We know why they keep redistricting and making sure that it fits in the certain parameters. It's to make sure that
Yeah, Heather, I've known some people that are perfectly fine just living on welfare, just because they're so lazy, The thing with welfare, it never gets you out of poverty. The intention is to keep you in poverty and keep you dependent on the government. And then you keep voting Democrat for them.
Democrats stay in power. Under no circumstances are you going to convince me that the SAVE Act is anything more than a way to stop Democrats from cheating in our elections.
Amen.
Why would you want people outside of this country to make decisions inside this country when you can't do it in theirs? Why are you openly advocating for the dilution of the American voice and the American vote? Because it works your way, because it goes your way, because you get to keep the power that you want. It shouldn't. You don't notice how the majority of states that don't have voter ID also tend to be blue? You don't think that that has something to do with it? You don't think that the multitude of people that came into this country for 4 years underneath Joe Biden are not participating in elections when people have been arrested left and right over and over again about election fraud?
Hey, all those.
You don't see the correlation by the shit that you say about Kamala Harris losing the 2024 election and that it was rigged out from underneath her, that you're saying that it happened in 2020, whether you realize that or not. And here's how I'm about to show it to you, right? The same software, 2020 and 2024. The thing that you said was the most secure ever. The thing that
originally welfare was set up to be a temporary thing, not when you're on third generation's welfare, something's wrong. It was supposed to be temporary.
you said could not be hackable. The thing that you said couldn't connect to the internet. The thing that you said the tabulation machines couldn't change, and we were all fucking delusional, is the exact same fucking software that they use in 2024. So by saying that Kamala Harris was rigged out of it and that all of these things can happen, you're saying that it happened in 2020. You are confirming it, whether you accept that or not. I don't really give a fuck. To the Republicans who are sitting there bitching about the incumbent that's in place instead of getting off of your ass and going to go vote, understand you are part of the problem and understand you are being as emotionally stunted as liberals are in this fucking moment. To sit there and just hand
Colin, are they stealing a lot there with all those junkies?
Power over to the Democrats, knowing full well what the fuck they plan to do. Impeachment processes, social welfare for all, breaking the filibuster, adding in the District of Columbia and every other fucking place into being a state, making sure that it's a one-party rule across the board.
You see what Trump and them are doing? He's made it so you have to at least work a little bit, like 20 hours a week to get your SNAP benefits. So hundreds and hundreds of them went off their SNAP benefits rather than work the 20 hours.
That's what the fuck you want, really. That's exactly what you want. You want to give up any type of semblance of freedom that we have.
If you're able-bodied, there should be some kind of at least job cleaning up or something you can do.
Fucking left over to people that fucking hate us. People that hate this fucking country, that side with terrorists and every fucking body else but the United States of fucking America. That scoff their nose about the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and laws that they pass for illegal immigration. That's what you're going to do. Not like you don't know what Democrats are going to do. You already know they're going to try to defund everything that keeps us safe. So if you as an American citizen and a patriot like you claim to be is planning on sitting out of any fucking upcoming election, I don't view you as a patriot. I don't view you as somebody who wants to make changes. And I don't view you as somebody that is even remotely serious about maintaining and making sure that our country is safe from Democrat rule. You bitch about what Democrats do. You bitch about how they fuck us over every single time, but you don't want to get out and vote in the primaries. You just want to, hey, go, take it, and then get on here and bitch about all the stupid shit that they do. For what? Clout? Money? Get the fuck over yourselves. I get it. You might not be happy. Texas is your prime example. Show every fucking incumbent who continues to go against what we want as the American citizens that you are going to vote them the fuck out of there and you have the capability, the balls, and the know-how to do it. That means showing up to vote. That means getting off your fucking asses. That means not bitching on the internet and doing something about it. If you're not going to do that, then just say so. If you don't have the energy to do it, just say so. Republicans have a history of not showing up during midterms when there is a Republican president. And in turn, Democrats get power, shit gets stalled for 2 years.
That's sad, Heather. I live in an area where it's not like that here. I live in a decent area.
They use that in their campaigns, and then a Democrat wins the election.
Outside the cities, kind of rural.
In the upcoming cycle for the president. Is that what you want? Do you want to go back to the chaos that is Democrat leadership?
Wow.
Every single one of them is not capable. If I'm being completely honest, the only one that would be even remotely capable would be someone like John Fetterman, who can reach across the aisle and get something done. That's it. Gavin Newsom, fucking AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Talarico, Ilhan Omar, she can't even fucking run because she's not a legal American citizen. Well, at least if she fucked her brother and her dad, that kind of voids out her citizenship. But that's neither here nor there. Stop being emotionally stunted, guys. At some point, you have to realize part of this mess that's going on is your fault for not getting out and voting. Understand that. And understand it will be your fault if our country goes to shit. Because you decide, well, I'm not going to show up. That's on you, not anybody else.
It's already heading that way.
And I better not see any of you guys on the internet. I've got a list. So if you get on the internet and start bitching, trust I'm going to call you the fuck out. You don't get to. Not at all. Especially when you promote sitting out of the elections and just handing power over to Democrats willingly. That's dumb as fuck. Have a good night, guys.
So Mondami has made it so it's getting really hard for any of these stores to sell bacon or pork at all already in New York City. This lady tries to go around to these different shops and stuff, and they aren't selling bacon, any kind of bacon anymore.
What happened to serving pork bacon in New York? I don't know where this shift happened, but now nowhere has pork bacon, and it's irritating. I just went to Fort Delis to try to get something for someone. Like, I need pork. I need the pork. And I get it. Certain people don't do it for culture reasons, for health reasons. But like, what happened to accommodating to everyone? I think we got to the point where people started just serving what they want to serve, not what the people want to serve. And I think that's not inclusive. So people don't want
You have to
pork.
sell a lot of
Like, I want
Avon to make a living, though.
So why are my needs not being met? And now y'all want to have turkey and beef bacon. Like, I don't want that.
I'm not even in the town, actually. We're in the trailer park, actually. About 3 or 4 miles outside of town.
Pork. And also, how do New York and like, what? It's my culture to eat pork. Like, what happened to me?
Yeah, what happened? Happened to all Americans. All right, Gates in China is going around in the United States. They're buying out massive farms, especially these pig farms. For some reason, they want to get rid of all the pig farms. Both, friggin' Gates wants us to eat bugs, for one. They don't want us eating any pork. They're going after the pig farms. So they bought them up, and they were farming the pigs, right? But such a low rate that it was driving the other ones out of business. And they're going to convert these places into other things like solar farms and that.
Shirley Troubadour asked a question about why Gates and China are being allowed to buy up all the farmland in our country. And I'm going to tell you something that I had an experience with. I spent many years, about 20 years, suing the factory farms, the big hog farms, and the big chicken producers like Tyson and Bo Pilgrim and Frank Perdue. But Smithfield Foods was the biggest pork producer. And Smithfield came to the state of North Carolina. They built a slaughterhouse that could process 30,000 pigs a day. And then they had a partner named Wendell Murphy, who was in the state Senate, and he passed 28 laws in the North Carolina State Senate making it illegal to sue a factory farm. He left and went into partnership with Smithfield, created a way to raise pigs instead of raising them on farms, to raise them in warehouses called Murphy 1100s. And they dropped the price of pork from 60 cents a pound to 2 cents a pound. It put out of business all 28,000 independent hog farmers in the state of North Carolina. And it replaced them with 2,200 factories, all of them either owned by Smithfield or contracted to Smithfield. The only farmers who could stay in business were farmers who signed that contract with Smithfield to mortgage their homes, to put those big hog sheds, the Murphy 1100s, on their property. And then they lose all control. They become serfs on their own land. Smithfield dictates all their farming practices. It gives them the food. It delivers the piglets, picks up the grown animals, and brings them to slaughter. They put out of business 28,000 farmers, and they control now 80% of the hog production in North Carolina. Because they dropped the price in North Carolina, Iowa had to adopt the same system, had to cave in.
Heather, was that pig farm set on fire intentionally? Or did it accidentally get on fire? Did they burn it down because Islam doesn't want it?
Smithfield, they ended up taking control of 80% of the hog production in our country. Then they sold themselves to China. So now China owns all that hog production in America, and it controls our landscapes. And that's the end of Tom.
That's what they want is the land, not so much the pigs. So they're not going to keep growing pigs because Islam doesn't want it.
Thomas Jefferson's vision of an American democracy rooted in tens of thousands of independent freeholds, each one owned by family farmers, each with a stake in our system of government.
Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, ICE makes a bust here in Virginia and illegal. Watch this. You won't believe this one.
Now, police in Culpeper are warning parents to be vigilant after they say a man tried to solicit explicit images from young children through TikTok. We are showing you his mugshot because police believe there could be additional victims. Officers say 20-year-old Angel Rubio David Marine targeted 3 9-year-old girls on the social media app. He then moved the conversations to iMessage, where he offered to pay the kids for sexually explicit photos and videos. Police say he offered Cash App payments and Robux. That's currency used on the popular online platform game there, Roblox. Now, the Manassas man is facing 7 felony counts. Culpeper's police chief says proactive monitoring by parents is often the best line of defense between online predators there and potential victims.
The parent chooses to let their child use these gaming platforms or these social media platforms on our phone to really I hate to say this, to be over the shoulder and really be involved in their social media activity.
Culpeper police telling us ICE and DHS are also involved as the suspect is undocumented. We've reached out for a comment. Anyone with information
not undocumented, they're illegal,
is asked to email their tips to the Culpeper, Virginia Police Department or give Culpeper Crime Solvers a call right away.
All right, Apple, why are they doing Islamic holidays on the calendars? Watch this.
Hey, Apple, I have a question. Why are there Islamic holidays on our calendars? We are not an Islamic country. We are not a country that was founded on Islamic principles, and thank God for that. My ancestors actually literally fought and died to ensure that. We are one nation under God. It's in our founding documents. We were a country founded on Judeo-Christian values. And that is the reason we have religious freedoms, because where in Islamic countries can Christians freely, openly practice Christianity? Throughout Islam's 1,400-year history, where have they tolerated other religions and allowed other religions to thrive? It's like these leftists are trying to say that we're one big united world. We are not. Islam does not stand for religious freedoms. We don't live in harmony. And they think we're going to now, because they put their holidays in our phones. They want us to tolerate and push tolerance for a religion that does not tolerate us. No, I don't want to be mindful of Islamic holidays. I don't want Islamic holidays to be considered U.S. holidays. We are not compatible. They're not celebrating Easter in the Islamic world, I promise. Stop having tolerance for a group of people that want to enslave you or kill you if you don't convert to their religion. Because that's what's taught in their religion. And it's what they've shown us since
it's a cult,
founding.
Actually.
Study history. It's important.
I ain't getting no motherfucking job because we're in line right now about to get $200.
All right, they're giving them money to vote. It's what this one was. I didn't have it labeled. So you walk in there and the illegals to register to vote or to sign petitions. The left is doing this constantly. It's not even legal to do this. And when you don't have to have voter ID or anything, they can just sign up under any name and then get back in line and keep doing it over and over again.
I ain't getting no motherfucking job because we're in line right now about to get $200 cash assistance, man. How you feel about that? Sounds good. Fucking job, man. God bless Democratic America.
Yo, look at this fucking shit. They're talking about our fucking living situation. Talking about that this is our 8th eviction notice. Well, we don't give a fuck. We squatting in this bitch and there's nothing y'all can motherfucking do. Send an army. I don't give a fuck, nigga. We gonna turn up in this motherfucking crib till the wheels fall off to this motherfucking building.
No! So they're squatting on people's properties too.
No! Let God! No! Stop!
That was a sacrifice, bro. Fuck it, just put it in the schedule, bro. Do the best we can.
Smash the phone, huh?
Did you fuck it up?
This is the places they're trashing these people's rental properties.
Me and him.
Boom! I got the blower on him.
Bitch. What you talking about? Stank. I know, bro. I haven't taken a shower in a week. I'm homeless. I think I'm gonna just jump in the fish tank. Fuck it.
You need some soap with that water.
Oh no! Do it one more time to go. From here now.
I swear they're all on drugs.
Man, go crazy. Act like you don't give a fuck.
Yo, I'm done responding or replying to any of you nerd ass. No, I'm not gonna get no fucking job. Guess I'm gonna continue to be a Guess I'm gonna continue to be a bum. And I don't give a fuck what you think about it.
Lazy.
I'm gonna make $1 million off being a bum. $1 million off being a bum. Watch this.
That's what we brought into this country too. Or the ones, some of them coming out of our schools. All right, this is Atlanta TSA shortage. This is how backed up they're getting because of the Democrats.
Yeah, you understand that call out rate is really imperative right now. If you look down this line here as we shoot through some of the passengers, you can see how many empty seats are open right now. That's normally full, especially with the day where they're expecting spring break travelers. We're seeing a lot of call outs here. We've been talking to folks who work around the airport. They said they've never seen the amount of call outs that are going on. Just yesterday, there was a food drive for TSA workers. They were going downstairs, getting water, peanut butter, and bread. So you understand the pain point that they're under right now as they're not being paid. And then you see what's happening to the traveling public. This line stretches all the way past the carriage where all the luggage comes in. It's unreal right now. We don't know when it'll get any better.
Oh, it'll get better once the Democrats get their way, right? No, not. I don't know.
So I heard the new leader of Iran wants to take
Watch how nice this lady is. Not.
out you know who. And leader of Iran, if you're seeing
Another one wanting to have Trump killed.
this for any reason, I just want you to know that most of us are rooting for you. Actually, but I think most of us would like it.
Well, the leader, the second leader, the third leader, the fourth leader, and the fifth leader are all gone in Iran.
To be kind of slow and painful, if you wouldn't mind. Okay. Go get 'em, bud.
Think about this. Her Trump derangement syndrome is so bad that she is cheering on a foreign adversary of the United States. Then she goes on to say, I don't hope you just get him. I would prefer that you make the president of the United States' death slow and painful. And the reason I'm pointing this out is because the Democratic Party, their messaging, it hijacks people's emotion. It's very emotion focused. And the more I pay attention, the more I start to think that's by design for a multitude of reasons. But this type of politics, this level of manipulation, it's not healthy for the country. Imagine if conservatives were as unhinged and emotionally volatile as Democrats are. Our country would be a terrifying place to be. Like when Joe Biden was striking the Houthis in Yemen, I wasn't seeing conservatives coming out and saying, hey, Houthi leader, I hope you win and I hope you kill Joe Biden. That is crazy. But the Democrats, they overflow their base with Trump hate. Me personally, I know multiple people who aren't even really Democrats. They don't agree with much of what the Democrats do. They just know they hate Trump. Their values aren't aligned with the Democrats. They just know they don't like Trump. And I think that's one of the ways Democrats get people to continuously vote for them who otherwise would not align with their ideologies. But people are so busy being distracted by hating Trump or thinking he's bad that Democrats.
You think martial law will be necessary, Kirk? I don't know. I think we're heading in the right direction. It's just not fast enough for me.
Can go behind that and enact terrible policies that make people's lives worse without too many consequences. I've even said this to many Black people I know. I was like, you're a conservative. You just don't like Trump. And a lot of times they can't even argue with me because I'm right. They don't align with a lot of what Democrats do. They're just opposing Trump. And the Trump opposition overrides a lot of their own value systems. Again, the way that Democrats do politics is dangerous and damaging for the country because we have half the country rooting for our adversary because they hate Trump. And half the country might be exaggerative, but it also very well might not be. But it is a large percentage of our country that wants to see us lose because Trump is in control. Crazy. And if you haven't signed up for my free email newsletter and you want something to keep you up to date with what's going on without...
All right, this one's, here's ICE at work. Dealing with dealing with these leftists. Watch this. It's actually pretty good.
How you boys doing? You up? Yeah, we're good. All right, guys. You know what? I think this is getting dangerous for this facility. I think they're too close. What do you guys think about pushing this whole crowd all the way back to that stop sign? Yeah. And just so you guys know, this is as per me. I've declared this a safety hazard to the personnel and the facility.
Well, I hope it's good people, Kirk. I hope it's good people that will take over. I don't know. We'll see. All right. This is about Obama. The left lost it. Watch this about Obama.
Well, this is just a quick reminder that Barack Obama is not in the Epstein files and has a real Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, man, I can tell that you believe that. And even more importantly, I can tell that you wholeheartedly want what you're saying to be true. So that being the case, you might want to hold on for a second because this may sting your little monkey muffin quite a bit. Yes, Barack Obama and Michelle Obama are both mentioned in the Epstein files. You might want to read a little deeper. In addition, we've had quite a few witnesses come forward and say that Barack Obama was known to smoke crack in hotel rooms.
Colin, yesterday I had a video about a nurse there getting fired because of her political opinion, because they were conservative opinions.
With gay male prostitutes. Now, as to not be a hypocrite, we have to believe those gay male prostitutes, right? I mean, they said it must be true. Now let's move on to that real Nobel Peace Prize that he has. Yeah, not so much. Notice that says he was given a Nobel Peace Prize, which is exactly what happened. And I say that because Barack Obama received his Nobel Peace Prize in 2009, just shy of a couple months into his first presidential term. Long before he had a chance to actually do anything to earn a Nobel Peace Prize. It was waiting for him. Yeah, once he was signed in as president, it was already done. Now, if you come to the conclusion that they gave him a Nobel Peace Prize just because he's the first black president and we have to glorify that, well, you did that on your own. I didn't say it. But he was given a Nobel Peace Prize under the guise of fostering new climate in international politics, particularly amongst the Muslim world, as well as reducing nuclear arms around the world. And here we are, many moons later. And those tensions between us and the Muslim world, well, they have never ceased. And there are more countries around the world with nuclear arms now than there have ever been. His goal was never achieved. He failed. And he was given a Nobel Peace Prize long before he even attempted to do what he said he was going to do. Is that what you call a real Nobel Peace Prize? I'll tell you who has a real one. The man who stopped 8 wars in 1 year. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just giving you the facts. And I get it. They want to glorify Barack Obama. There's nothing glorious about him. He showed us that at Jesse Jackson's funeral.
Amen on that.
Hey, good talking to y'all. Y'all go have the day you deserve, huh?
All right, this one's, things are really getting out of control. It's unbelievable. Watch this.
Bitch, that's the one that don't dick. Bitch ass nigga. Bitch ass kid. Right, see? Bitch ass nigga. Man.
I'd have to go back at him with a bunch of buddies.
On my dick, ring ass nigga. I ain't talking to nobody. Pussy.
You're seeing all these all the time now.
No, oh my gosh, stop.
He wasn't going back to the movie.
You want to go back to the interview. Fuck wrong with your pussy ass, nigga? DJ. Stop. You better go right back.
Hear people saying stop and not stopping them.
No. Stop now. Damn. What's wrong with your ass, boy?
Yeah, he's a loser, Obama was. Hey, Charles.
Pussy ass nigga, touch my shit again. Touch my shit again. Fuck, nigga. Fuck wrong with your ass, boy?
He's lucky he didn't end up in the hospital, really. He's not even trying that. Yeah, it's ridiculous, and they let him get away with it. Nothing's going to happen to him, I guarantee you. All right, here's they still won't fund. Here's some more on the not funding DHS. It's all bad. All right, here's some footage from James O'Keefe.
We're gonna get you $2.
This is where they're buying votes and signatures. Let me rewind it again. Buying votes and signatures. The left's doing this all the time.
We're gonna get you $2. We just need 14 signatures.
The petitioner Brenda Brown hands cash money to the homeless person, not only for signing the California ballot initiative, but also
this is part of the reason why they want the homeless. They want dependent people.
So as payment for them to register to vote.
Now, because you haven't registered, I need to register you so I can get paid too. I'm paying you guys, I need to get paid. Come on.
That is a federal felony. And it didn't just happen once. It happened over and over and over again.
I don't know if it's a classroom or where it is exactly, Charles.
We personally witnessed and covertly filmed this happening at least 28 times over the span of our investigation, and that is just in Los Angeles. Many of the homeless have zero understanding of what it is that they're actually signing.
But what is that petition for? You know?
What's the petition for?
I do not know. The petitioners instruct the homeless to enter made-up addresses like Pinocchio Lane.
What do I put as my address?
Yeah,
just put up. You live on Pinocchio Lane? Oh, you can just fake it.
Oh, good.
And all of this occurring just outside the front doors of shelters and NGOs such as Weingart Center, which have received hundreds of millions of dollars in government money.
Marianne, you see that you're seeing a lot more now. It just seems to be they're not punishing them. If they're punishing them, they wouldn't do it. You know, they think they can get away with it.
Guard employee tells us when and where to find the illegal cash exchanges for signatures outside, and says the cash being given out is coming from a higher source.
Yeah, tons of our NGO money, and they're billionaires now, these NGOs, and they're getting this government money. Boy, the Doge should have lasted for 3 or 4 years to get it all out. All right, here's that trucker driving one I was talking about, Gregory. Here's a illegal truck driver, drunk as hell, out there driving after he already smashes into a bunch of vehicles. Watch this.
Damn! Damn! What the fuck you here, amigo? Nigga, you high? You alright? What the fuck? Nigga. I know, man. Your ass fucked up, nigga. Look what you did. Look, the police right here.
No. It's okay.
It's okay. The police tell the police I'm sorry, not me.
Watch what he did to all these vehicles.
No. Please, what? What the fuck you trying to get up out of here? You just crashing people's shit. Yeah, he died, so he almost hit me. Shit. That's why I got in front of him so he can stop.
This guy's totally illegal, driving all around drunk.
Damn. I ran into all them people shit back here, man. He just fell out the truck. I got it on video. That's fucked up, man. Like, man. Yeah, he fell out the truck. He drunk. They ain't pissy drunk. He backed out and crashed. Then he crashed everything. ran to this shit. He did all this. And came out here and crashed this man's car. Damn. Man.
Gregory, I bet you can testify to that about dealing with some of these illegals driving.
God damn. Hey, this is our car. Cut it off. Cut it off. Cut it. That's not my car. That's not? No, it's right down, he's down over there. All right. Yeah. Tell him cut it off though, man.
Yeah. I don't know that Jim guy that you're talking about yet. Maybe I will. All right, this one's definitely for Colin. Colin, this is the Canadian government, but it's the same thing that's happening in England. Watch, they're going after they're sending several police out for something you post or say on social media.
Well, there's some allegations that you've made some online posts to the Prime Minister of Canada. Is there anything to say about that?
He insulted the Prime Minister of Canada.
Can you be more specific? What post? What I specifically said? Do you have a screenshot?
Yeah, you specifically said, and you made it online.
Well, because I mean, he's a Zionist scumbag, and he's not my prime minister. So,
okay.
But really, you're going to come to my door, and you're worried that I'm going to do something? Do I seriously look like a threat to you?
So that's why we came to talk, right? So those threats are made.
You know what? You guys should be busy taking care of actual real crime than standing here harassing me over fucking shit I say online.
I understand, but
okay, yeah, no. Don't be wasting tax dollars doing this bullshit.
Nicole, if such behavior continues, if there is...
What are you going to do? Put me in jail because I don't like our prime minister?
No, but if you made some threats that are concerning...
What kind of threats did I make? You still haven't shown me what I said.
You're talking over me, man. I'm trying to explain to you what the
Show me what I said.
So if those threats are continuing...
Show me what I said.
Right?
I didn't know you were talking about him.
Charged. Just want to let you know.
Communist Canada, how do you like working for that? Are you proud of yourself? Do you go back home and look at your family in the mirror and say, this is what you do for a living? You harass people for what they say online because I don't like our stupid prime minister and he's a Zionist scumbag?
You can have your opinion. You cannot.
Whatever. I don't have to discuss anymore with this.
So listen,
excuse me, don't touch my door.
That's what I'm letting you know. So if
don't touch my door.
We will put a report in. It's documented. If such behavior continues, they're trying to...
Blah, blah, blah.
I think this is the way you have to handle them, really. Because they're trying to scare you most of the time.
Blah, blah, blah. I will say whatever the fuck I want about our prime minister. You can't stop my speech. Sorry. Yeah, exactly.
Be threatening. That's all I'm asking you.
What you say is threatening, I say is just words. Okay. Have a nice day. Goodbye now. Bye now.
Yep. All right. Here's Puddin'. She's seen the Nick Shirley video, and she talks a little bit about it.
Girl, somebody might want to go check on old Gavin Newscomb right now because let me tell you, Nick Shirley, he is exposing all the dirty little secrets. And you got the daycares, you got the hospice, you got the home health, you got those fake NGOs that are out there. I mean, the list goes on and on. Honey child, in the midst of just drinking up all this tea that Nick is serving, I saw this pretty little gem.
He can't be possible to be as bad as Tampon Tim.
All these hospices pop up here. Why is hospice and home health care such a booming business right now?
I think it's become a trend of fraud. Honestly, has I
Reckon
heard about
like
this about 5 years ago during COVID that people were building hospices and selling them. It was like a business these people made. So it's an easy way to build Medicare with their people's beneficiary numbers that people can easily steal and even purchase and buy. They buy numbers from people and tell them, give me your Medicare beneficiary number and then we'll give you something in return.
And what does that mean, give you my beneficiary number?
So there's an ID that you have.
Yeah, why are the cops, Marianne, wasting all their time going out like that? We're paying tax dollars to do that crap.
Medicare gives you Medicare is for anybody 65 and over, so they'll give you a Medicare ID number, and that number is what's used to bill Medicare.
So essentially, if they can get a number from somebody, it's almost like getting a credit card number, and then from there they can continue to bill and bill and bill and get that.
Hey, Randy.
Exactly, it's actually more beneficial than finding a credit card these days. Oh. Anybody can get a hospice license. Actually, you don't need to be a physician, you don't need to be a doctor. You can apply and get a hospice license in the state of California. They take the Medicare numbers, they bill Medicare, the Medicare sends them a check right away. It's an easy process.
So an old person might be a bit naive to giving somebody their Medicare number,
Yes.
and without them even knowing, that's more valuable than giving them their credit card number.
Correct.
Something tells me that Nick's just scratching at the surface right now in California. Oh, hey Nick, why don't you go check out Newsom's wife's
Yeah, I would ignore him too,
charitable
Colin.
organizations? I bet you can find some good stuff there, bro. Keep it up, Nicky.
Yep. All right, this is Timerian. I don't know how to say it. The square in England here.
What have I done? What do you have to do?
He dared talk about God, I guess.
Policeman arresting a preacher in Stratford.
No, I didn't. What will you tell me that? What have I done? It's been explained multiple times. No. That's what it is. You've had ample opportunity.
I don't know how you say that, Colin. I know you're in England.
Huh?
Yeah. I just don't want to. It's not recording. I want to know what section of the law penalizes them. Don't worry, sir. Give the deed, take my friend, take the paper. We go from there.
You want to take it?
No, it's going to go with him. You've got to take it with him. I want to know which section of the law permits him, when he's got the criminal act, that he has to give his details. His name and his details. It's showcase. No, it's in there as well.
Yep. Okay, this comes about New York State. Governor Hochul, I guess, has driven out 3 nuclear power plants out of New York, which is going to quadruple the cost of our electricity here in New York. Watch this. It's as bad as California.
Hey everyone, Laura Ronson here, and what I'm about to tell you should absolutely
Our electricity bills are high enough. Now they're going to go up by 4 times at least.
terrify every single person living in New York right now. 3 nuclear power plants, 3 massive facilities that literally keep the lights on for millions of people. Gone, shut down. And Governor Kathy Hochul is in absolute meltdown mode behind closed doors because she knows exactly what's coming next. Total energy catastrophe. So drop a comment right now and tell me, are your electricity bills already out of control? Because what's about to happen will make those prices look like a bargain. I'm Laura Ronson, and on this channel, we expose the economic disasters that mainstream media refuses to cover. Hit that subscribe button and buckle up because this story is about to get very dark, very fast. Let me paint the picture for you. March 2026. Constellation Energy, one of the largest power producers in America, just dropped an absolute bombshell. They're initiating shutdown procedures at 3 critical nuclear facilities across New York State. We're not talking about small operations here. These are massive power generation plants that supply electricity to over 4 million households. That's roughly 40% of New York's total energy capacity about to vanish. And here's what makes this absolutely insane. Constellation didn't just wake up one morning and decide to shut down billions of dollars worth of infrastructure for fun. They were forced out, driven away by the exact same toxic business environment that's been chasing Fortune 500 companies out of New York for years. High taxes, suffocating regulations, and a state government that treats energy producers like criminals instead of essential partners. But this time, it's different. This time, when a company leaves, it's not just jobs and tax revenue walking out the door. It's your ability to turn on your lights, heat your home, and keep your refrigerator running. The facilities being shut down are the James A. Fitzpatrick plant in Oswego County, the 9 Mile Point facility also in Oswego, and the Ginna nuclear power plant near Rochester. Combined, these 3 plants generate approximately 3,300 megawatts of clean, reliable baseload power every single day. For those who don't speak energy industry jargon, let me translate. That's enough electricity to power every single home in Manhattan, Brooklyn, and the Bronx simultaneously. and it's about to disappear. Constellation's
Yeah, and they're trying to put in all these solar plant farms, and you can't grow anything on those farms after the fact. And that actually ends up polluting those farms because those things leak.
official statement was corporate and measured, talking about unsustainable operating costs, regulatory burdens, and market conditions that make continued operation economically impossible. But behind that carefully worded press release, energy analysts are saying something much more direct. New York has made it financially suicidal to produce power in this state. The company has been hemorrhaging money for years, trying to keep these plants operational under New York's increasingly hostile regulatory framework. And they finally reached their breaking point. Now, let me tell you about the panic happening inside the governor's office right now, because my sources tell me it is absolute chaos. Governor Hochul has been holding emergency meetings with her energy advisors, state utility regulators, and grid operators trying to figure out how to prevent a complete disaster. And here's what they're discovering. There is no quick fix. You can't just replace 3,300 megawatts of nuclear baseload power overnight. Solar and wind, the green energy sources that politicians love to talk about, they're intermittent. They only produce power when the sun shines or the wind blows. You need reliable 24/7 generation to keep the grid stable, and nuclear was providing exactly that. Natural gas plants could theoretically fill some of the gap, but building new facilities takes years and requires...
Well, the other thing here in New York is she's trying to drive out natural gas and stuff. You can't get any new houses with natural gas. She wants them all to be electric. Then she's driving out the electricity. I swear, it's insane.
Regulatory.
What they want is the government to control the electricity. And so they're going to take it all over, I bet. And then you'll be dependent on the government for your portion of how much you get.
Approvals that New York's environmental agencies fight at every turn. Importing power from neighboring states is possible, but it's massively expensive, and those states are already dealing with their own capacity constraints. The math is brutal and undeniable. When these 3 plants shut down, New York will not have enough electricity to meet peak demand. Let's talk about what actually drove Constellation to this breaking point, because understanding the why matters. First, New York's nuclear plant operators face some of the highest property tax burdens in the entire country. The Fitzpatrick plant alone pays over $35 million annually in local and state taxes. That's not a typo. $35 million every single year just for the privilege of operating in New York. Compare that to nuclear facilities in Pennsylvania or Virginia, where tax burdens are 60 to 70% lower. Second, regulatory compliance costs in New York have exploded over the past decade. The state's Department of Environmental Conservation has layered on requirement after requirement, each one adding millions in annual operating expenses. Third, and this is the kicker, New York's energy market structure doesn't adequately compensate baseload nuclear power for the grid stability it provides. The state's renewable energy mandates and subsidies have distorted electricity markets so badly that reliable nuclear plants can't compete economically with intermittent wind and solar that gets massive government support. Constellation executives have been warning state officials about these exact problems for years, and they were ignored, completely dismissed as corporate whining by politicians more interested in virtue signaling about climate change than actually keeping the lights on. Here's where the story gets even more disturbing. Constellation's shutdown announcement came just weeks after the company's CEO met privately with Governor Hochul's office to deliver a final warning. Either the state provides meaningful tax relief and regulatory reform, or the plants close permanently. According to people familiar with those discussions, Hochul's team responded with the political equivalent of thoughts and prayers. Lots of expressions of concern, promises to study the issue, but zero concrete action. The governor's advisors apparently believed Constellation was bluffing, that a company wouldn't actually walk away from billions in infrastructure investment. They were catastrophically wrong. And now that the shutdown is officially proceeding, the scrambling inside state government is frantic and desperate. Energy regulators are suddenly trying to negotiate emergency deals. State legislators are talking about special session hearings. Environmental groups that spent years attacking nuclear power are quietly realizing they might have just killed the one energy source that could have replaced fossil fuels reliably. The irony would be hilarious if it wasn't so tragic. Let me tell you what happens next, because the timeline is already locked in. Constellation has filed formal notices with federal nuclear regulators outlining shutdown procedures that will begin in phases over the next 18 months. Some units will cease operations as early as September 2026, according to preliminary filings. By spring 2027, all 3 facilities could be completely offline. And when that happens, New York's grid will be operating on a razor's edge with almost zero reserve capacity. During summer heat waves when air conditioning demand spikes, rolling blackouts become a real possibility. During winter cold snaps when heating systems run full blast, the same thing. Grid operators will be forced to implement emergency demand reduction
This is coming to Virginia, too.
Programs. That's a polite way of saying they'll cut power to certain areas to prevent total system collapse. Businesses will face mandatory shutdowns during peak hours. Hospitals and emergency services will strain their backup generator capacity. And electricity prices for everyone still connected,
which uses diesel,
to the grid will absolutely skyrocket as New York is forced to buy emergency power from neighboring states at premium rates. The economic damage extends far beyond just higher electric bills. Major industrial facilities that require reliable 24/7 power to operate are already evaluating whether they can continue manufacturing in New York. Data centers, which are massive electricity consumers, are looking at other states for future expansion. And here's the truly catastrophic part that should alarm every New Yorker. This energy crisis will accelerate the corporate exodus that's already devastating the state's tax base. Companies were already fleeing New York's high taxes and hostile regulations. Now add unreliable electricity and skyrocketing power costs to that.
So that happened in PA too, huh?
That list of problems.
Now, they could power the plants with natural gas, but they won't allow in New York State natural gas mining or fracking.
Why would any business choose to operate in an environment where they can't even count on keeping the lights on? The answer is simple. They won't. They'll pack up and move to Texas, Florida, Tennessee, states with reliable power grids, reasonable energy costs, and governments that actually want businesses to succeed. Governor Hochul's public response to this crisis has been predictably tone deaf. Her office issued a statement expressing disappointment in Constellation's decision and promising to work with stakeholders to ensure continued energy reliability.
Maybe they're hoping for some more payoffs before they let stuff go through.
Translation, we have no actual plan, and we're hoping this somehow works itself out. Behind the scenes, the governor's
Charles, what they're looking for is control, total control.
Political advisors are in full damage control mode because they understand the implications. Energy failures and blackouts are the kind of crises that end political careers. Voters will tolerate a lot of things, but they won't forgive leaders who can't keep the power on. And with Hochul already facing criticism over crime rates, migrant costs, and population decline, an energy catastrophe could be the final straw that makes her governorship politically unsustainable. Some state legislators are already calling for emergency hearings and investigations. Republican lawmakers are using this as proof that New York's progressive energy policies are driving the state toward third world infrastructure reliability. So here's where we are right now. New York is staring down the barrel of an energy crisis that could define the next decade. 3 nuclear plants shutting down, grid capacity collapsing, electricity prices exploding, and businesses accelerating their exits from the state. Governor Hochul had years to address the problems driving energy producers away. She did nothing. Her administration chose political posturing over practical solutions. And now, millions of New Yorkers are going to pay the price. Literally. Your electric bills are about to go through the roof. Your businesses will face operational uncertainty. and your state's reputation as a place where things actually work is about to take another massive hit. This is what happens when ideology trumps reality, when politicians care more about appeasing environmental activists than ensuring their constituents have reliable electricity. The consequences are devastating, and they're just beginning. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Laura Ronson. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you seeing energy problems in your state too? This pattern is spreading. Smash that like button if this opened your eyes, and seriously subscribe to this
Spreading in the blue states
channel, because New York's collapse is accelerating, and you need to stay informed about what's coming next. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp.
Well, we do have Niagara Falls here, but it's not enough. You can't get enough power from that to do the whole state and then some. And then you lose a lot of the electricity through all that length of transmission lines, you know. You have to carry it so far. All right, this young lady in high school breaks this down great. She breaks down about the climate scam, the global warming BS. Watch it. She's got her facts. Watch this.
Life on Earth is in crisis. Crop failure, social and ecological collapse, mass extinction.
She's saying what the left says first.
We have a moral duty to take action. These statements, made by Extinction Rebellion, reflect the climate alarmist narrative that has continued to escalate across the Western world. Hysteria over climate change can be seen throughout history, from the human sacrifices of the Aztecs to bring back rain, to the Salem witch trials to eliminate the women who they blamed for crop failure during the Little Ice Age. Today, the climate industrial complex is funded by trillions of dollars, seeking to control what we buy, eat, and where we are allowed to travel, all in the name of sustainability and achieving net zero carbon emissions. This fear campaign is rooted in the belief that we will not look into the data ourselves, but instead look to the governments and to the media to tell us what is true. Today, I will demonstrate that temperatures fluctuate and are not unprecedented, and that natural disasters are not getting worse. I will also highlight the unreliability of climate data and the role of CO2. Ultimately, I will present scientific evidence to show that we are not in a climate crisis. Historical temperature records indicate that we are not in the climate crisis Western governments claim we are. Looking at a graph of the past 65 million years from Noah, the Earth today seems to be in a particularly cool period. In fact, the Earth is still coming out of an ice age. History demonstrates that life has existed and thrived in much warmer temperatures, and that temperatures have been much higher without the human influence of industrial CO2 emissions. Historical temperature records indicate that the temperature of the Earth naturally fluctuates over time, as it has for the past 65 million years. In just the past 2,000 years, there have been 2 warm periods and 2 cold periods. The Roman warm period, also called the Roman optimum, was known as a time of prosperity. This, of course, goes against the entire narrative that warming threatens human life. Following the Roman warm period came the Cold Dark Age, the Medieval warm period, and the Little Ice Age. The current warming from 1800 onwards is the warming of recovery from the Little Ice Age. However, temperatures are still cold compared to distant times and continue to visibly fluctuate. Given this evidence, the 3 degrees Fahrenheit that scientists and news pundits claim is the end of civilization is not cause for alarm because it is not unprecedented and because temperatures will continue to fluctuate. Today, the argument for climate change is rooted in the belief that warmer weather and CO2 emissions have been causing natural disasters to become more frequent and more violent. However, after studying hurricane and wildfire data, it became clear that actual activity goes against this global warming narrative. This graph from the Bulletin of the American Meteorological Society shows the number of hurricanes in the U.S.
She has her facts.
Per year since 1900, showing a slight downward trend for the past 120 years. The strength and duration of hurricanes shows a similar lack of crises. A graph from the National Hurricane Research Laboratory illustrates the North Atlantic hurricane intensity from 1920 to 2016, where there is evidently no trend. However, the data presented to the public by the 2014 National Climate Assessment of the United States is limited to the portion highlighted in red, creating an illusory upward trend. This graph, starting in 1920, shows that the number of acres burned by wildfires in the US has been decreasing. Similarly, the number of acres burned globally since 1900 has steadily declined as well. Ultimately, the presented evidence goes against the narrative that anthropogenic CO2 emissions has been making the weather worse. To understand the science behind the climate crisis claims of today, it is
actually the extra carbon helps the plants grow better.
It's necessary to highlight the unreliability of available data. This is most evident in the disparity between climate model predictions and the observed data. In this graph illustrating temperature change, the blue line represents data taken from weather balloons, matching up well with the green line, which represents data taken from satellites. However, the red line represents the climate model used by the UN IPCC to predict future global warmings. These observations show that actual warming is about 1/3 of what is predicted. Temperature measurements are greatly affected by what is called the urban heat island effect. Since concrete picks up heat, temperatures taken in cities are much higher than those taken in rural areas. For example, in a thermal radiation map
so does pavement
of the city of Paris, the middle of the city produces a deep red color representing heat, while the rural areas around the city project a green to blue color representing milder temperatures. This gap represents one way that climate alarmists can instill fear by embellishing data to serve their agenda. Perhaps the greatest tool of the climate industrial complex is the supposed evil of CO2. However, CO2 is not the control knob for climate change, mainly because it is only 0.04% of the atmosphere. I'll say it again, CO2 is only 0.04% of the atmosphere.
It counts all of us breathing and everything, all animals breathing and everything.
In a visual comparison of CO2 to the other atmospheric gases, it shows how barely negligible the gas is in comparison. Although the mainstream media has tried to alarm its consumers with the accelerating emissions of CO2, the Earth is actually in a CO2 famine. Current levels are about 423 parts per million. However, in the past, they have been at least 1,000 parts per million and have likely...
And a lot of that, when it's been up to 1,000, is when we have had a lot of volcanoes and stuff like that, and satellites hit with meteors before.
Reach 8,000 parts per million. While the narrative states that CO2 directly causes the rise in temperature, it has been found that quite the opposite is true. The relationship between CO2 and temperature is not that more CO2 causes a rise in temperature, but that a rise in temperature causes an increase in CO2. Carl Wunsch, professor of oceanography at MIT, found that when the ocean warms, more CO2 is released into the atmosphere. On the other hand, when the ocean is cold, CO2 is absorbed into the water. In a graphical correlation between temperature and CO2, it is found that when a rise in temperature occurs, a rise in CO2 follows a few centuries later. In this graph, CO2 rose 800 years later in response to a surge in temperature. While CO2, like everything else in the world, may have some small...
And that hurts your health, especially your immune system.
...factor in climate, there are countless of other factors affecting temperature. Some examples are volcanic activity, cosmic rays, and the sun. This highlights how if we were to limit CO2, it would only stunt biodiversity while having almost no effect on temperature because of the fact that it is only one small factor in a sea of greater causes. Some call CO2 the gas of life because it plays an instrumental role in the process of photosynthesis. It comes as no surprise that most farmers use high levels of it in their greenhouses to produce a better crop. In this picture, 4 pine trees are shown growing at different levels of added CO2. from normal atmospheric CO2 to an added 150, 300, and eventually 450 parts per million, more CO2 is evidently beneficial for plant growth. Physicist Lubos Model, former professor at Harvard, summarized the importance of CO2 and saying, "It is the key."
Is everything okay, John?
Compounds that plants need to grow, and indirectly that every organism needs to have food at the end. It is clear that CO2 is not, as the New York Times frighteningly put, a tiny bit of arsenic or cobra venom, nor will it cause famine, as many claim. If CO2 increases, it will only green the planet and increase the food supply. Across the Western world, climate change has been coined as an existential threat to mankind. While this sentiment is not new over the course of history,
I bet you the leftists will attack her physically to try to shut her up.
As it can be seen through the Aztecs, and even in the Salem witch trials, it has once again become relevant in today's culture. With policies such as carbon taxes and individual CO2 budgets being proposed in our governments, we begin to see a
lot of big money there. NGOs want to get their hands on that money.
Climate issue creep into every part of our lives. This is why I found it necessary to pursue the truth in the climate debate. In my speech, I presented the scientific evidence behind historical temperature change and natural disasters, discovering the unreliability of climate data and the small role of CO2 in climate and its essential role in biodiversity. As a result, I've concluded that the climate crisis is a hoax that we must arm ourselves against by pursuing the truth and by looking into the data ourselves.
That young lady presented that very well. All right, this next one's about the nurse in Virginia that she ended up getting fired. I think her name was Melinda Rose Cook. Watch this.
I thought of something good. I think it's something weird. Sabotage tactic, or
this is the one that wanted to harm us. ICE agents, I guess.
At least scare tactic. All the medical providers, grab some syringes with needles on the end. Have them full of saline or succinylcholine. Whatever. That will probably be a deterrent. Be safe. Okay, for today's resistance tip, I vote. Anybody got any poison ivy, poison oak in their yard? Get some of that up with gloves, obviously. Get it in some water, like a gallon of water. Get the poison ivy oak water, and I'm going to put it into a water gun.
Poison ivy water gun, and she's going to use it on patients?
Aim for faces, hands. All right, the single ladies where these ICE guys are going have a chance to do something, not without risk, but could help the cause for sure. Get on Tinder,
the cause of the cult? The TDS cult?
And find these guys. They're around. If they're an ICE agent, bring some X-Lax and put it in their drinks. Get them sick. Nobody's gonna die. Just enough to incapacitate them, get them off the street for the next day. Highly easily deniable. You could get sick too.
Some of that stuff can kill you.
There again.
Especially if you get that stuff in your bloodstream, like the poison ivy.
I'm just saying. Let's get them where they eat. Somebody's not going to be supporting these guys. Where's the hotel where they eat? Who makes that breakfast? Let's find them. Let's make their lives fucking miserable. I know we're already trying to keep them awake all night. That's good. Anything you can do to make the living conditions bad.
She's got a mental issue.
Talk to the people who work at the places where they are. We'll get some ideas. Dead fish. Somewhere in the room hidden.
Now that definitely can get you very ill.
Stay toxic.
She is toxic, that's for sure. Here's David Spade talking about a bill that just passed California. You won't believe this.
The same broader problem with people paying taxes in California when they're building a $100 billion train to Sacramento, San Francisco area. Said, I don't know if everyone's clamoring for it when you could take $10 billion and probably fix a lot of problems in California. But they keep pushing this 10-year thing about the train.
Either.
That's just one of the crazy things. The homeless, they lose $20 billion, but they want more money for it. Well, that's why people get tired of paying taxes and going, well, what are you doing? Gavin Newsom just vetoed a bill asking for an audit of where the money for homeless goes. He said, not a chance. You're not going to see that. That's
well, I don't think anyone could disagree with this. There are states, I don't have them offhand, who basically you go to their website and they tell you where all the money's going.
Yeah.
Line by line. Maybe it's thousands of pages a year, but you can see where it's going. So when he's behind the curtain, don't pay attention to Gavin Newsom, it's a little bit
just frustrating because you go, you can't ask for more. I mean, if someone's, if you're in a household and someone's blowing all the money, you go, what are you spending it on? Don't worry about it. Just give us more money. You go, well, I'd like to see something. And if it's fixing homeless, great, but don't just take it and then be like, homeless has gotten worse. You go,
it's like,
but you just,
excuse me, Gavin Newsom, excuse me. Could we ask where the 20 billion went? Or
that's a great question, but no.
Garth, I'm sorry.
That was Garth asking?
It was Garth, a little bit of Garth, but
That's pretty good. Here's Pritzker. He's talking about weaponizing the government against all patriots here in America in 2029 when they take back over. They plan to take over. Actually, maybe before that, here in 2026, going into 27. Pritzker says they're going to use lawfare to go after all of us, including Trump.
What does a Project 2029 agenda look like for you?
I don't think you can speak of it in shorthand, but I'll just say a couple of things that I think are absolutely necessary. One is we've got to restore the rule of law, and that means holding people accountable who've broken the law. I'm talking about in this administration, when we get a new one, the people in this administration who've broken the law and federal agents who've broken the law need to be held accountable.
And that means criminally prosecuted.
Criminally prosecuted, civilly prosecuted, whatever it is that we can do, right? It may be that you can't criminally prosecute somebody, but that you can go after them civilly.
She did get fired, huh? Go after them civilly, whatever way. They're going to use lawfare, I guarantee it for sure. All right. One of the loudest anti-war voices in Iran. Listen to this one.
Okay, if you're anti-war with Iran, and you think you're standing up against Israel's war or another pointless Middle East mess, you should listen to this. Because after Iraq and Afghanistan, I actually understand that. But no one tells you who wins when you say no war with Iran. The IRGC is not a normal government, you see.
Ukraine is a money laundering job.
It's a gang sitting on top of 80 million people. Iranians are basically hostages in their own country. And this gang survives by keeping the whole region on fire. They arm militias that shoot at our troops and our bases. They back groups that hit our allies and play games with the shipping lanes that decide what you pay for gas. And while all that is happening, they're pushing their nuclear program so they can keep doing it with a nuclear umbrella. At the same time, they've poured a fortune into propaganda, state TV, independent outlets, podcasts, influencers, fake experts, bot farms, and the message is always the same. Iran isn't really a threat. Israel is running the show. America is being dragged into someone else's war. Now look at Joe Kent. In 2023, right after Hamas massacred Israelis, he put out a press release blasting Biden for enabling Iran and its proxies. He promised that he wouldn't send 1 cent to Hamas and that he'd make sure that Israel get the weapons it needed. Back then, Iran was a huge problem. Now he walks out in the middle of a war and suddenly says Iran wasn't an imminent threat and this is basically Israel's war. That doesn't look brave to me. It looks like he's repeating exactly what the regime wants Americans to believe. And you see the media version of this too. Tucker Carlson gives Iran's president a soft interview, lets him tell millions of Americans that Iran wants peace, that Israel and the lobby are the problem, that America is being manipulated with almost no pushback. That clip runs on regime.
To me, I don't care about Israel. I think it's in Americans' interest for Iran to go down with them funding 90% of the money that goes to terrorism comes from Iran.
Channels is proof that even American media agrees with him. And now he's posting that the CIA was reading his text with people in Iran and is trying to frame him as a foreign agent. He's basically admitting himself that he was in direct contact with regime circles while pushing their story here at home. So here's the uncomfortable part. When you post, this is just Israel's war, Iran isn't a threat, we should stay out of it, whose script are you actually reading from? Because it doesn't come from a neutral place. It lines up perfectly with what a terror cartel in Tehran has spent years and more serious money trying to make you believe. I'm not asking you to love war. You don't have to, but
I know of her. This is an Iranian woman.
If what you care about is your safety, your money, and your kids not fighting a much bigger war 10 years from now under a nuclear shadow, then you can't just give the IRGC a pass because someone told you this is Israel's fault. A campaign that targets a cartel that has held people hostage, killed 50,000 people in 2 days, keeps attacking our troops, threatening our economy, pushing for nuclear leverage is not the same thing as invading a random country on bad intel. You can be skeptical of war in general and still understand that letting this cartel grow stronger and richer almost guarantees you a bigger, bloodier war later. So if you're truly anti-war, start with this question. Right now, am I standing with 80 million people trapped under this regime? Or am I accidentally protecting the gang that keeps lighting the match?
Yep. All right. Here's one of the politicians. I forgot his name. Undercover. They caught him having his people give money for votes for ballots.
Senator Padilla, recent undercover reporting in Los Angeles is showing that there is cash for ballot deals being made. I'm with the press. I'm with the press.
Watch him run interference on her, trying to ask him a question.
It's right here. My badge is right here. We have our badges. Cash for ballot measures. Cash for ballot deals. No, Gavin Newsom is now demanding prosecutions for these cash for ballot deals being made in Los Angeles. This is your state of California where this is happening. Why are you opposed to the safeguards in the Save America Act? To get to the next meeting. There's election fraud actively happening in the state of California, and you're opposed to the Save America Act. Can you explain why?
Two different things.
There is election fraud happening in California. Why not be a proponent of the Save America Act to protect American elections? He made his point very clear just now. He did not, and the American people...
Because they're cheating.
Still want answers. Thank you very much.
All right, here's Protect the Kids. You got to see this.
3 for 3. We did it, Colorado. It's official. All 3 of the Protect Kids Colorado ballot measures are going to be on the November ballot. Number 108, the Children Are Not for Sale Act. Number 109, the Protect Girls Sports Act. And now add to that list, number 110, the Protect Kids from Irreversible Sex Rejecting Surgeries Act. These are all going to be on the ballot so that we, the people...
So they're going to get past these leftist officials in government, or elected officials.
People can stand up for kids and families and take our state back.
They'll probably get people out there buying ballots that will go against this, but I don't know. I think there's a big wave to push this through.
Be on the November ballot. Now we're in campaign mode. So tell everyone you know to vote on these 3 very important common sense issues. This victory truly belongs to all 3,500 plus Coloradans who stepped up, who carried a petition, who donated, who notarized, who hosted us, who shared our content. We get to share this victory together, but now the real work begins.
All right. Watch this guy debating about voter ID with this Islamist lady who doesn't want to go back to Islam thing because the way they treat ladies, but she wants that to happen here. Watch this.
Let me ask you, why don't you go back to Iraq now? Saddam Hussein's dead. Why don't you go back? You won't, because you fucking know it's better here. You know damn well you're not going to leave.
Because I'm a woman.
Oh, please expand on that. Tell me, what's wrong with you being a woman?
Hey, Dan.
Women don't have rights. They don't have freedom.
That's crazy. So you stay in the country where women have rights and you won't go to the oh, wow. I wonder if there's a correlation there. I wonder if there's a correlation there. Please tell me, why do women not have rights? Go ahead. Tell me, why is it in Iraq that women don't have rights? Please.
Does it look like I work for the government?
No, but you made the claim. Tell us. Come on. Inform us. Inshallah, inform us. Please tell us why.
Not inshallah.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I didn't put the on it. My bad. Please tell us why women don't have rights in Iraq. Go ahead.
Because they are expected to stay at home and be housewives. They can't
because of what? What is that ideology that exists in Iraq that tells them to
religion?
Do that? What religion?
It's a religion.
What religion is it?
Islam.
It's Islam. That's crazy. So the Muslims, who she doesn't like a lot of white people, as she said, they don't like the West. They think their religion is perfect. as she said, I don't go back to that because my religion hates on me. So I stay in the West, the place I hate, the white people I hate, because I'm not treated like they treat me in my country. That's crazy.
It's not my fault they do that.
No, you know what? That's true. It's not. It's Muhammad's fault and your religion's fault.
It's not Muhammad's fault. Peace be upon him.
Muhammad specifically said evil comes in three things. 3 things, he said. Women was one of those 3 things. He said hell was filled with women because they're disobedient. He said that women were half as intelligent because they had a deficient mind. It's all in Sahih al-Bukhari. All in Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. He also said that women were half as religious because they have their period and they cannot do certain religious things during that week. And so therefore they're not as religious as men. It takes 2 women to equal 1 man as a witness in Sharia law. All of this is absolutely said by Muhammad, who married a 6-year-old.
And it's true.
You think women are half as intelligent? You think women are half as intelligent?
Isaiah
I think she was losing that one. All right, here's another predator let free by Gavin Newsom out there. Another predator pedo. Watch this, a big time one.
I don't care what anybody says. You'll never be able to convince me that Gavin Newsom and the Democrats care about Californians or care about this nation. A couple weeks ago, I was talking to you guys about David Ellen Funston. He is a child predator with victims as young as 3 years old, and Gavin Newsom's parole board granted him parole. It wasn't until the Placerville District Attorney's Office decided to push harder and arrest him for other charges that they found he was connected to. Israel Ceja was charged and convicted with 20 counts of rape, where he assaulted a minor child for almost a decade. Apparently, he was married to the victim's mother, and he knew that the victim was victimized by the mother's previous partner. And Gavin Newsom's parole board gave him parole, saying that, well, he was trying to pray away his want to prey on children. This is what I'm talking about. Like, these people who are vote blue no matter who, they don't care what the actual policies are that have impacted our community. This guy's going to get let go. And with the way California laws are, like, he can be around kids. There's so many loopholes that have been implemented by the Democrats here that they've put us all in danger, and they couldn't give 2 shits. A parole board that is appointed by Gavin Newsom has this much power and this much authority. They're letting him go based on his age, saying that it's elderly release. Since when is like 50 elderly? And not too long ago, my former senator, Susan Eggman.
Also depends on the crimes and how many times they've committed those crimes.
Before she terms out, she goes onto the Senate floor and says, I'm tired of saying that it's okay for men to buy and sell little girls. As a Democrat, she's telling them the Democrat Party has allowed for this to happen and they have to move more in the middle, otherwise they look like fools. Too late. Midterm elections are coming up in California, and it is, I feel, so much more important than federal races. We're going to have a new governor. We're going to have new assembly members, senators, city council members, board of supervisors, all of these really important roles, like the Department of Education, the superintendent of public education is also up. We're going to have all these important seats up. You cannot sit this out because these people, these Democrats, have done nothing but introduce policies that have sunk working class families. After being a lifelong Democrat,
it's all part of their plan.
I decided to walk away from the party based on the politics and policies that they pass.
She came on my channel a long time ago, Denise here.
They're dangerous and they're failures. This election, stop voting Democrat.
All right. God doesn't make mistakes. Gregory, you're going to like this one.
God made a mistake and I am supposed to be a boy. For 2 years, I came home crying when I was a little girl. 2 years, telling my mom this. And for 2 years, my mom encouraged me, God doesn't make mistakes. And
because the school was pushing this crap on her. The schools are pushing this crap.
You were exactly who you were supposed to be. Well, today, my 8th grandchild was born at 6:30. If I would have been born today, I cannot imagine how different the story would be. There wouldn't be 5 children that exist, and there wouldn't be 8 children that exist. We have to help children with whatever they are going through.
That's all part of the world population thing that they're trying to get rid of.
And encourage them that they are perfect in every way. I'll do a longer video about this at some point. But I praise God every day.
Amen on that. I wish she could speak to more of these people that are trying to trans these kids and stuff like that. All right, it's criminal how they're treating some of these veterans. Watch this.
Where do you go to the bathroom and shower?
Kind of personal, but I use a bucket and throw away plastic bags.
Right here in California, where the richest of the rich live. Gavin Newsom, your governor here, he just recently bought a home that I think was around $9 million in the San Francisco area. $9 million. And here you are, a veteran, and this is shantytown. I remember many years ago seeing something like this in India, and I just couldn't even fathom it with my brain that this could actually exist anywhere. And here we are in Oakland, California, you know, just miles away from Nancy Pelosi's street up there on the hill. It's just so frustrating and so awful to see people living like this. I bet you feel just blessed to have shelter over your head at night.
I am. I try to take care of it, but it's very difficult with people coming and going.
Wow, so this is where you're sleeping?
Yes.
Four years ago, these were built, and these were built for people that lived here in Oakland that were homeless to live in.
All of us that were here
For the longest time. And how many were built?
Right.
And a volunteer group made this, so not even the government.
Government did nothing for us there.
12 were built, and those 12 cost us $67 million for 12 of those little tiny homes. 12 for $67 million. Isn't that insane? Unbelievable. All right, let me grab another one here. I had another one about the transition. I want to get to that if I can find it. No, that's not it. Where is it here? Maybe it was this one. All right, I'll just play this one and I'll try to find it.
An Oregon man was convicted and sent to jail for collecting and using rainwater on his own property.
Ridiculous. You're going to jail for saving your rainwater.
Sued by the state for theft.
No, this is Oregon. They get a ton of rain.
Rancher Gary Harrington built 3 large reservoirs on his own land to collect rainwater and snow melt. He claimed the water was primarily for fire protection reserves and for providing water to wildlife. But the state called it theft and prosecuted Gary. A municipal code stipulates that all water within city limits, including precipitation, is part of the public water supply. The city requested the court order the removal of his collection system and impose a fine. Despite Harrington's repeated appeals, arguing, "The water fell on my land. I'm not selling it. I'm simply using it on my own property." The court ultimately rejected his claims. Harrington was found guilty on multiple charges, including unlawful appropriation of state water resources. He was sentenced to 30 days in jail and fined over $1,500. The incident sparked intense backlash.
And if he keeps doing it, I bet you they'll keep going after him.
Residents said it was simply tyranny. If a person cannot own the rain that falls on their own land, what do they actually own?
Shit like that. Shit like that. That don't make that made absolutely no.
All right, here's another very good walkaway that's left the left that used to be on the left.
All right, y'all. I'm officially coming out as a Republican. The left has truly swayed me over to the right. And I think they're proud of it too, because all of this stupid controversy going on because of a comment that I made on a TikTok video. The left mob is absolutely losing its mind. And I used to be on the left. I used to be gung-ho LGBT. I was an activist for the LGBT people before gays even had a legal right to marry. I was going out and I was a Galenson representative in my school district But at this point, I don't want to be associated with the LGBT either, despite even being gay, because I can't stand y'all anymore.
Hey, Pat.
Like, I make one comment about a grieving mother who was very respectful about how they were referring to their trans child, by the way. They were referring to them as both Michael and Lexi. And in the comments of people that actually knew her child, were referring to her child as Michael. And she was shit on in the comments for referring to her child as her son. Because the left, the trans mob, will never accept that. They can't let a woman who is taking responsibility for not being a present enough mother, for not loving her child enough, for who's trying to be a better person and being vulnerable in her grief journey, it's still not good enough. So they have to shit all over her and kick someone when they're down, right? Because that's the righteous thing to do if you're part of the trans mob, insane, like liberal left. So I make a comment just basically supporting the mom, saying you have every right to refer to your child.
Well, it looks like DMs still aren't working in Lincoln.
Child as your son. Apparently that's the worst thing you could ever possibly do as a human being, because I have people coming onto my page, screenshotting my TikToks to shit on my appearance and put it in the comments there. Meanwhile, they look identical to me. They're just white liberal women just flooding the TikTok. That they look like me, like basic white girls.
The rainwater thing is leftists want to control everything. That's what they want. They want to control how much water you get.
But they're going to shit on my appearance because I said one thing.
So I've known some people that'll save some water so that during the dry months they can water their plants and they grow some crops, like a garden or two.
That they disagreed with. It's like, tell me you're mentally ill without telling me you're mentally ill. Like, they're advertising it online at this point. And then...
Yeah, you're right, Gregory, about the 47 years. And I think it's 49, or is it 47? Maybe it's 47. Yeah, and Iran there was caused by Carter. You know, it was caused by Carter.
Just the bullying. Like, coming to my page when you don't know me, and because I made a comment on someone's TikTok that you don't know them either, coming to my page to find videos of me grieving my dead mom, for you to go, you know, talk about him and just misgendering my mom to try to offend me. Like, I don't get offended by pronouns and little tiny words like she, her, he, it, they, like you do. And the fact that you would even go to like my page to shit on my dead mom, like, hello? Is this you trying to convince me to get to your side on the left, to be pro-trans? I was never anti-trans. And anyone that knows me knows this. I've never been shitty to any of the trans people in my life. I've been nothing but supportive.
Most of them are dudes.
Like, I just... Like, hello? So, yeah, at this point, I'm coming out. I'm voting Republican down the fucking line. I'm done. And I don't know.
I'm hearing more and more of this.
Next thing Trump should do is bring back insane asylums and put these fucking people in it. Thank you and goodbye.
All right, there's some new bill in California, AB 2651. It has something to do with Gavin Newsom making a lot of money on these vaccines. So he's going to go around our government and have the state government force vaccine these kids. Watch.
There's a new vaccine bill to fight in California, AB 2651, by Mia Bonta, with a hearing on April 7th in the Assembly held. Recently, Gavin Newsom consolidated power around the California Department of Public Health and broke ties with the federal CDC under RFK Jr. This bill is the first attack we've seen, and of course, it's going after children and school vaccine mandates. AB 2651 will require CDPH to set immunization thresholds for community immunity in schools for each of the 10 shots mandated to attend. They will use junk and bot science to establish a fake standard, which will first be used to notify and then ultimately to control the rates of unvaccinated children in a school setting. This is their move to counter their crumbling narrative of safe and effective and to future-proof against religious exemptions, which we expect to win in the courts in the coming years. But what AB 2651 does is expose that Hep B, tetanus, pertussis, and others should never be mandated, and we can prove it.
Oh, I was busy typing, sorry. Let's go for this one. Oh, that was the vaccine one I just did. Let's do the other one on the vaccine. I think I have another one on the vaccine. Thought I did. All right, let's do the Joe Rogan one. Here we go.
Most doctors can't tolerate being called quacks or having their reputation destroyed. And you know, I went from treating the CEO of actually the head of the laboratory at my hospital for hypertension to becoming, you know, somebody that was doubted on every levels after a while because of one thing that I said, which was, can we stop giving vaccines to my sick patients, to people who are having chemotherapy while they're having chemotherapy, to my patient before I've even seen them on the ward? Can we just hold this up and give it to them on the day of discharge? That was my request in the beginning. That's how this all landed here. And had they not tried to intimidate me, doubt me, and pushed me to research and show that what I saw was actually real, I would still be lockstep working as a regular doctor because there were some good things about it. So look, even if you look at what happened with COVID, let's just look at that. Like, how did they pass this off? Look at the media today. Do you know that they're giving COVID vaccines to 6-month-old children now? We know how bad it is. We know that it ruins stem cells in pregnant women. They don't give stem cells to their babies. The industry's upset because the placentas no longer have stem cells. They used to use those stem cells in research and cosmetics, etc. They're not getting them anymore because of what the COVID shots did to the placentas and those infants. That's not being talked about in the media. Nothing bad about the shots being talked about when we have Kevin McKernan and all these people looking at it going, there's SV40 in it. There was a staphylococcal endotoxin gene. There were 2 snake genes in there. Nope. We got to put it on the baby vaccine schedule, because any doubts, whether or not well-funded, about the vaccination must not be allowed to exist. That's why.
That sounds like a religion.
And it's been going on.
It sounds like a cult. It sounds like a crazy cult that the whole world's been sucked into. Giving a COVID shot to a baby today is insane.
3 of them.
It is.
They get 3 by the certain. You'd have to look up the schedule, but I believe.
In California, you get 3 COVID shots for babies.
If it starts at 6 months and they get 3 of them, kind of boom, boom, boom.
Are doctors really recommending this?
It's on the. Look, there's a group.
Their bank accounts are. They're making big bucks on it.
Group of people called ACIP, the doctors, usually with vaccine interests in their bank accounts, that make the recommendations for the vaccines, and they've recommended that 6-month-olds. So if your doctor is following the ACIP program, you have to be offered that vaccine. And now that doctor, this is another part of the story, is that doctor's likely to lose $250,000 a year if they don't do that, because there's incentive given to hospitals and doctors, which is what naively I was on the other end of when I woke up in 2008 and said, wait a minute, why are we doing this stuff to my sick, inflamed patients? You're giving them more inflammation. It's because the hospital would lose something like $40,000 if they didn't give a vaccine within the first 24 hours of admission.
Oh my God.
And they would get $40,000 if it was all a money game. That's really the bottom line of it. And I didn't know that until a nurse years ago, who was a high-level administration. She said, Suzanne, this is why they did that to you. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, at least it makes sense now.
Nobody wants to think of it as a business. Nobody wants to think you're making business decisions at the expense of someone's health and possibly whether or not they make it. Like, what are you doing?
Well, that's been the case since, basically the medical profession was infiltrated in the early 1900s by, high-level interests that didn't want us thinking for ourselves and carrying on with the natural cures that actually work.
Same here, Dan. I'm same here. Let me correct that. Sorry. Gotta add the extra E. I'm gonna get out of there quicker. Okay. Let me grab the next one. I was going to go with, watch this. This leftist mom. She was mad at their school for emailing about the, here, I'll just play it. Here we go.
I got an email yesterday about how something happened during the Cultural Celebration Assembly at my child's school. And it was like,
how come they always have green or purple hair?
One of the commentators, whatever, said something that was not approved by the school. We had approved his speech, and that wasn't part of it. And I thought it was like negative, given that we're in the racist Trump America. But I asked my daughter today what it was, and she said, "Oh yeah, they just said fuck Trump and fuck ICE." And I was like, "Oh, so it was positive." And I don't understand even why they had to send that email out, because, like,
if they were doing that in school, you wouldn't get in trouble. But she's thinking that's positive.
That should be what the school represents, because we are not here for racism and bullshit like that. So, like, why did you have to, like, defend it? I don't know. It's dumb.
All right, here's investigating Islamic place on the border of Mexico and the United States. Watch this.
You might be hearing about the threat of Iranian sleeper cells in the U.S.
The threat is here. They are in our country. We don't know where they are. We don't know who they are.
We just crossed into Tijuana, Mexico.
Actually, we do know where some of them are.
And right now, the Iran news is dominating the news cycle.
The problem is, a lot of times you can't do much about it until they do something. Then you can go after them.
On the American side.
These are all documents that my team's found at the border.
And once again, these are individuals from special interest countries. They require extra security screening, and these documents are literally
have to catch up
all
with chat
over.
when
So
I'm done
just
here.
2 blocks away from the U.S. border on the Mexican side in Tijuana is this Islamic mosque.
Can you ask if the manager is doing it?
I can't go back. I don't do crazy stuff.
But we just want to see if anyone from Iran was here. Where are you guys from?
So our brush team in Stark County apprehended a special interest alien.
They don't have to be
from Pakistan, and
there.
we're
It could
talking
be
about special
Lebanon,
interest
any of those.
countries or special interest aliens. But these are adversarial countries that are not friendly to the United States.
So the guy was from Iran, but he also had a Venezuelan passport. So these countries will work together to get bad guys into areas like the United States.
Stay tuned for this exclusive report. Back on the California border working on a major national security story. You might be hearing about the threat of Iranian sleeper cells in the US, but corporate media is missing the bigger story on how Mexican cartels were able to move in hundreds of thousands of individuals, not only from the Middle East, but from China into the United States. Stay tuned for this exclusive report. So, Corey, you and I met a few
Charles, which whole video?
years ago during the Biden administration, and you were trying to sound the alarm in this area of the border, particularly with individuals traveling from China, the Middle East, countries where these individuals want to attack the United States. And you've been trying to sound the alarm. But now, under this administration, we are at war, and that threat of Iranian...
Oh, I ended. Ukraine for sure, Marianne. That's definitely about a lot of money. I tell you that. This is about harassing.
Fuck around and find out should be the new motto of 2026. Because I don't know who the hell is telling you black folks to harass and torture and go up to white people, calling them crackers and being crazy, thinking that you got some sort of black privilege, that you're a goddess or god, you're a fucking king, and you can talk to people and disrespect them however the fuck you feel like it. And then when they retaliate and call you the N-word with the hard ER, or don't give a fuck and give you the same energy back, all of a sudden you're crying racism, want to call the cops. The same cops that you guys hate and call pigs all the time and post shit on social media pretending to be the victim. Yet you were the antagonizer the whole time. Leave these people alone. And it's not just white folks. I see you guys be racist as hell to Hispanic, Asians, everybody. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? The hate in your heart is so dark. You're black on the outside and inside. That heart is black as coal. And you get surprised when you finally meet your match. Not everyone's gonna tolerate your chimping out. And not everybody's scared of you. And I'm glad that this is the year where people are showing you. Maybe this is what the community needs in order to progress. Because I'm fucking embarrassed.
Other 39,000 deaths from February. This is from the vaccine. Wow. I 7 o'clock came up on me quick. It caught me off guard. All right. God bless everyone. I should be back on tomorrow unless something comes up at 5 p.m. All right? God bless. Bye-bye. Take care.